Jeff Kaplan, game designer. Tracer. Jeff Kaplan's sponsor is Blizzard Entertainment. Tracer
That checks out.
is Overwatch. Grace Howard is Bellabog. Venom Snake is Military Frontiers. Snowman is North Pole. Zork is Mythological Society of Mars. Succubus
Right.
is a dating app.
Okay.
A peasant.
A peasant.
A peasant is sponsored by Kitchenware. Frank from Donnie Darko is sponsored by Dark Cinema Enthusiast. Varix the Loyal is sponsored by The Fallen. IO is the Realm Defense Council. Foxman in a suit. You see, Foxman in his suit is the Order of Dapper Predators. Corilla is Fashion Psychos Weekly magazine. Forgive this, my sir, again.
You added the Foxman in the suit again.
I know that, but just, I mean, back to back.
Is it back to back?
No. Church of Reconciled Violence. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Church of Reconciled Violence is, that's the Forgiveness Meisters. Cake Lava Elemental. Cake of the Lava Elemental. What?
What?
That's what I'm saying.
It's a lava elemental named Cake.
Cake the Lava Elemental. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I read that so poorly. I'm also multitasking, so.
Got it.
That one's by Volcanic Therapy. Sazuka Kiriguri. Knights of the Black Order. Where are they from?
Code Geass.
Okay. Walter White. Pharmaceutical Company. Herc Dirkman. From Atomination. Amononation.
Huh?
Jesse Pinkman from Badgers and Skinny Pete. That's his sponsors.
Yo, it's friends.
Okay. Arlechello.
Arlecchino.
I don't know. Arlecchino. The Intelligence Network. Tony Tauntaun. Anti-Swiss Culture League. Septic Eye Sam. Did I add Call Me Kevin to this one? I did not. Okay.
No.
Okay. I added Jacksepticeye to the other one. Or not Jacksepticeye. I added Call Me Kevin to the other one because I was thinking about what Irish YouTubers can I add that isn't Jacksepticeye. And so I decided. So that's really funny. It's my mind. Howard the Duck. Rambo. Day 1 as the horns blare and Hellish Arena opens. The contestants scatter across Obsidian Field. Tracer blinks towards a lava-slicked bridge, securing supply cache. Rambo immediately crafts a makeshift bow from Hellwood and sinew. I don't know what that is. Okay, trembles uncontrollably as lava geysers erupt nearby. He stumbles into a scorched grove, avoiding molten pits with wild fear. Io bonds with Luna, setting up camp in a bone grove. Meanwhile, Zork oozes spores across the central field, causing mild hallucinations and nearby contestants. No.
Oh no.
Walter and Jesse form a shaky alliance. Okay.
Crazy.
He immediately start making meth. The peasants deflects a thrown blade with her frying pan and bashes a sneaky Frank attempting to bite her. He slinks away, whispering something about time loops. Succubus corners Herc, feigning vulnerability. Ugh. I just realized I added Snowman to hell.
What is the snowman?
Yeah.
Who?
Just a snowman.
You added just a snowman? You're so cruel.
I didn't even realize. He just immediately starts melting.
Crazy.
Herc rocket jumps away from danger.
Yo.
From the succubus. He's too dumb to fall for her tricks.
Makes sense, yeah.
Howard the Duck hides inside a Skull Cave, where he's offering stock tips to a rat. Tezuka fends off Varix in an intense moonlight duel, but spares his life. They silently part ways. Corella stalks Foxman, infatuated by his fashion sense. She offers an alliance. He declines. She slaps him with her fur whip and vanishes. Sam slashes through fungus growth at high speeds and dashes, avoiding Zork spores. Toby Tauntaun finds Frank sleeping and dismembers him brutally.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Cake accidentally trips and falls to a pit of hardened lava. Paralyzed with fear, he can't move. Zork appears and silently devours him. That's what Zork does.
Yeah.
He does now.
He does now.
Why is there a Thok sword?
Hammer of Christ.
I guess it's not a Thok sword if it's a sword.
Yeah.
Hammer of Christ sword edition.
Possibly.
Day 2, Tracer, Captain, and Grace. I'm gonna save real quick. Then exit out in this to No Man's Sky.
Sounds good.
Tracer, Capcan, and Grace form an uneasy tech alliance. They hijack
Kaplan?
an infirm.
Was it
Kaplan.
Yeah.
Whatever. Hijack an infernal drone and send it crashing to Arlecchino's camp. She survives, furious and singed. Varix receives a care package with a shock shank from his sponsors and immediately sets a trap for Corella. She steps on it but survives with a mangled leg. The shock shanks are terrifying.
What are they?
I think if I remember correctly, it's just like a drone that tases people.
Oh.
Walter synthesizes a neurotoxin. Jesse watches in awe. Rambo ambushes a succubus and riddles her with bone-tipped arrows before she can manipulate him. She dies cursing his name. Snowman and Howard the Duck argue a can of hell beans before splitting them.
Okay.
Peasant confronts Arlecchino and somehow knocks her out with one swing of a frying pan. The others are baffled. Tezuka receives a traditional katana from his sponsor and meditates, preparing for battle. Forgiveness Meister forgets Trace for blinking past him. Oh yeah, I forgot. They're like a bunch of. It's like a church, so there's a bunch of different types.
Oh, yeah.
Last time it was a woman. Earlier, forgives Trace for blinking past him earlier, and then impales her with a lance for no reason.
Right.
All right, they're not from the same church.
Sure.
One forgives
Right,
one for
church.
getting stabbed. The other one just stabs him in the ribs.
Dead.
Arlecchino wakes enraged and throws Peasant off a ledge, but Peasant miraculously survives, landing on a bone pit instead of lava. Venom Snake camouflages himself into a molten geyser. How does he do that? and silently slits the throat of Foxman, Orange Man, as he adjusts his tie. So Foxman's dead. Io and Luna mourn Tracer's death, but vow to continue. Zork erupts in fangle rage, screaming across the field. For what reason? Frank got killed by Toby Tauntaun. Kate got devoured by Zork. Succubus killed by Rambo. Tracer killed by Forgiveness Meister and Foxman. Venom Snake. The Grief Storm.
The grief storm.
It's just hallucinating. It's just fog and hallucinations. All right. Okay.
Dude,
I'm gonna
hell related.
no, because I say a related event, and so it says Crimson Thing. It's just ash and violence, but it makes sense for hell. So it does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Infernal Quake. A massive earthquake tears across the battlefield. Obsidian cliffs collapse. Lava rises. Lava rivers reroute, and many shelters are destroyed. The quake hits during the early hours. Howard the Duck and Snowman are nearly crushed by falling Hellstone Tower. Snowman loses an arm, but patches himself up with permafrost from Frozen Demon. Okay. Walter White. White's lava cave implodes, and he and Jesse scramble out, grabbing what they can from the chemistry. They need to find higher ground. Zork, undisturbed by terrain, simply melts into a fissure and resurfaces somewhere else. He screeches into the sky and begins spreading massive fungal tendrils across the terrain. Rambo is buried underneath a cascade of bones, but bursts out, covered in blood and rage. This is nothing, he shouts before he immediately launches a makeshift explosive into a nearby crevice. Uh-oh. Io rides Luna across cracked terrain, launching a moonlit arrow at anyone who approaches. A bolt strikes Forgiveness Meister, grazing him, but he forgives her.
Alright. Forgiveness
Grace Howard
and shot.
Yeah, but lives and forgives. Grace Howard and Kaplan are separated. Grace jumps a lava river using gravity anchor she fashioned. Kaplan stays behind and hides in a collapsed obsidian cathedral. Meanwhile, peasant saves Suzaku from falling into a chasm by flinging her frying pan like a grappling hook, wedging it into stone. He climbs to safety and thanks her. Okay. I don't know, this person
is a grappling hook?
Yeah, apparently. That's all I said is a peasant with a frying pan.
She turned it into a grappling hook.
Yeah. Corella, now limping badly, loses her footing entirely. She falls into a crevice, miraculously caught on a protruding bone pillar. Unfortunately, Toby Tauntaun is at the top. He stares her down, dead-eyed, instantly cuts the bone loose. She screams, falling. The land is unrecognizable. Zork fungal roots begins to glow red, feeding on hellfire. A portion of the field is now overgrown with burning mushrooms. Walter and Jesse camp in silence, their tension growing. Walter insists of following a calculated plan. Jesse says, yeah, sure, Mr. White, what could go wrong? Varric sneaks through the scorched brush and plants shock mines around the edges of the lava trench. He watches from the shadows as Arlecchino charges through, triggering 2 mines. She barely survives and hurls a knife at Varric. It hits him. He's wounded. Septiceye Sam ambushes Herc, darting between rocks, and slashes his arm, but Herc retaliates with a grenade he's been chewing on for good luck. It detonates. Both are blown to pieces.
Okay.
Peasant and Suzaku. Where are they from?
Code Geass.
Oh yeah, duh. I don't know why I thought that, and then I immediately went to, it's...
He's like a holy knight, basically.
Who's the femboy from Steins Gate?
I don't remember
Cause it's Luca. But I'm thinking about Sasuke from Steins Gate for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't even remember who that is.
It's the girl that's from the future.
Oh. Oh yeah, Suzuha.
Peasant and Suzaku.
Yeah.
How do you say it? Is that it? Suzaku?
Yeah.
Suzaku. Now travel together, forming a respectful bond. Zork tries to ensnare Io in a fungal trap, but Luna rips the spores apart with furious energy. Io launches a beam of celestial energy that spears a part of Zork's torso, forcing him to retreat. Kaplan finally meets Rambo, who holds him at knife point until Kaplan offers him an ultimate killstreak idea.
Oh my god.
Toby Tauntaun murders Forgiveness Meister mid-prayer. He giggles and walks away. Grace receives a new gravity disc from her sponsor and uses it to scale the spire. There she sets up an observation post with a scoped blaster. Zork, still wounded, lies dormant. Spores pulsate from him plotting. Howard and Snowman come across the remains of Herc and Septiceye Sam. Snowman takes a piece of Sam's lens and wears it like a monocle.
Whoa.
Looks cool, right? He asks. Howard sighs. Walter White, unable to sleep, adds something extra to Jesse's food. Jesse eats it unknowingly and begins to hallucinate. He dies foaming from the mouth. Walter sits over the body.
That makes sense.
Io sinks to the moon, glowing with strange energy. Suzuku watches her from afar. I ripped out a huge chunk of hair. Holy darn.
Holy darn. Good job.
Yummers. Alright. The shattered hellscape is strangely calm. No eruptions, no quakes, just simmering lava and burnt roots. That's when the sky opens up and sponsors' packages begin to fall in. Walter White opens a black case inside a razor-sharp scalpel and a syringe of clear liquid. Rambo receives a crossbow and of obsidian with explosive bolts. Snowman opens it. It's just a tiny umbrella. He's just thrilled.
Yay.
Howard the Duck gets a bottle of bourbon and a duck-sized revolver. Zork
That's pretty good.
gets a red crystal that only he can hear. Kaplan finds a buff patch and it increases his reflexes temporarily. Grace Howard gets a plasma knife. Peasant receives an iron pan lid. Finally a shield, she says.
Yeah.
Suzaku is given a ceremonial armor. Okay. Io receives a glowing lure pendant. Luna howls in response. Arlecchino gets a skin-grafted set of razor claws. She immediately slices her arm open, testing them.
Well.
Kaplan ambushes Zork, trying to inject buff serum, but Zork's fungal whip wraps around his neck and then slams him into magma rock repeatedly. Kaplan dies laughing.
Okay.
Walter White watches for this from a distance and mutters, he's a problem. Arlecchino tracks Snowman and Howard into a lava trench. But Snowman, she pounces. But Snowman unexpectedly fast grabs her midair and slams her face first into the ground. Oh my god.
Damn.
By the time buying Howard time to fire his revolver. It grazes her shoulder. Io confronts Rambo, who has taken over a charged spire. You don't belong here, she says. Here, you moon girl. They duel arrow versus bolt. Rambo takes an arrow to the thigh, and Io is nearly blown off an edge. Both retreat, wounded. Walter finds Grace asleep in a ravine. He approaches with a syringe, but she wakes up just in time, kicking him down a slope. Suzaku dreams of home and Suzaku dreams of home and always wakes screaming. Peasant nearby calms with a hug. Zorka via fungal bonfire chants alone. A red halo forms over his head. He's evolving.
Yeah.
Toby Tauntaun is seen dragging a corpse for Meister. Days dead at this point. It's been 3 days since he's died.
It's not weeks.
It's like weeks, days, and weeks, and hours, and weeks. Howard and Snowman, bruised and scorched, finally confront Toby Tauntaun. Snowman distracts him with a melting and decoy, while Howard guns him down at point-blank range.
It was mostly Howard.
Io and Grace share food. Zork glowing. Glowing tracks down Walter in a cracked catacomb. He confronts him and wraps his whipped arm around his leg. Walter injects him with a mysterious syringe into Zork's neck. Zork shudders, twitches, and lets him go. The remaining contestants: Walter, Rambo, Snowman, Howard the Duck, Zork, Grace Howard, Peasant, Suzaku, Io, Arlecchino, and Venom Snake. He's just hiding.
Yeah, I forgot about that guy.
I mean, it makes sense lower reasons.
Yeah, he's hiding in the molten lava.
Zork, now glowing with that twisted red halo and humming like a furnace, raises a fungal spire from the earth. It pulses alive. Elsewhere, Io, Grace, and Suzaku hold a tense meeting to take down Zork. Meanwhile, Walter White sits hunched, watching from a distance. The hunt for Zork begins. Snowman and Howard decline joining the assault. We've done enough. Rambo climbs a ridgeline to survey Zork's tower. Venom Snake, unseen until now, emerges from the shadows. Camo activated and knife drawn. Io, Suzaku. Sorry, I was rereading something. Arrive at base. At the base, Zork descends with arm cracking. Io and Luna provide ranged cover, arrow piercings. He screams in agony. Grace closes in with a plasma knife. She slices deep into his leg. He backhands her into a boulder. Suzaku charges his blade, slicing him furiously. Zork grabs him, slams him down, and that's when Venom Snake strikes, his blade stabbing Zork's spine. Zork roars and explodes into red spores.
They all had to team up on him.
I mean, yeah, he's been overpowered.
Yeah, true.
The fungal spire now begins to withers, collapsing into a smoldering heap. Spores burn, the moon glows blue above hell. Io tends to Suzaku's wounds, Grace sleeps near Luna. Snake vanishes once again into the woodwork.
Yeah.
Howard and Snowman celebrate by roasting a demon. They didn't even help, so why would they?
I don't know.
Rambo watches from a cliff. Sushi had a stressful dream about getting horrific tattoos. She just texted me that randomly.
Nice.
Walter White receives one more package. It's just a black box with the labeled Heisenberg, and he opens it and smiles. We don't know what's in it.
Oh shit.
Peasant is spotted near a hellish ravine, still carrying a dented frying pan. She sees Arlecchino watching her from above. Snake silently leaves symbols in the ash, marking the dead. He's building something, but what? Io and Grace talk about the end. Grace says, I'd rather lose and let someone like Walter win. Walter, meanwhile, injects himself with something in the box. He begins to glow faintly. Stop glowing, people! Howard dreams of Duck. Snowman doesn't sleep. He watches the lava rise. Rambo loads every bolt he has and sharpens his knife. Arlecchino hums a nursery rhyme. Oh, it's a Hush Little Baby reference one.
Oh, yeah.
One little survivor, blood in her. That's pretty cool. I'm surprised it did that.
Yeah.
Grace, Io, and Suzaku agreed to stay together until the final moment. Walter White isolates himself in a crumbling cathedral, whispering formulas and names into the shadows. He's losing his mind. Rambo begins setting explosive traps. Howard the Duck and Snowman stick together. Arlecchino stalks them from the cliffs, ragged, hungry, and laughing. Peasant sharpens her frying pan on a bone blade. How do you sharpen?
Listen.
The peasant. Not frying pan. Venom Snake disappears into lava mist. Okay.
Alright.
Again, somehow not dead.
Yeah.
Suzuki walks into the lava in the middle of the night, burning himself to death.
Cool.
That's it. He just says, "I won't be a liability," and walks into the lava.
All right.
Io and Grace watch in horror. Rambo triggers traps.
Why?
Rambo's traps trigger. Howard the Duck and Snowman are caught in the blast. Howard is vaporized instantly. The Snowman, now headless and half destroyed, charges Rambo anyways. Rambo tries to reload, but Snowman tackles him into the lava pit. They vanish together.
Yo. Good job, Snowman.
Okay. Walter White steps out of his cathedral. His skin is slightly gray. He's turned to the Gray Hulk. He finds Io tending to Luna, Grace sleeping nearby. He hesitates. He injects himself again with it. He approaches. Io looks up and fires a moonlight arrow. He dodges it. Luna leaps. Walter injects her midair with a toxin and dies in Io's arms. Io screams and shoots Walter in the chest 3 times with her bow. Luna is killed by Walter White. Walter White is killed by Io in vengeance.
I see.
Okay, I got spoiled something, and it's pretty lame.
Right.
Grace, Io, Peasant, Arlecchino remain. Venom Snake still unaccounted for. Io, I like how it actually added Io and Luna, though, to both of them. Io and Grace agree to stick. Yeah, people and their mounts. We have Tony Green and Martha, Io and Luna, Batman and Robin. Io and Grace. Yeah, that'd be funny. He dries Robin. Io and Grace agree to stick together. Peasant stalks them from above. Arlecchino attacks peasants, claws gleaming, but peasant with frying pan in one hand, shield in the other, beats her to death with a frying pan.
Yeah.
So Arlecchino is dead by peasant with a frying pan. Grace is alone. Io and peasant split up. Suddenly, Venom Snake emerges from the shadow behind Grace and stabs her in the neck. Okay. The peasant stands on broken cliff, shield raised. Io stands opposite, battered but glowing with moonlight. Snake stands between them, motionless. Io fires an arrow at Snake, keeping him pinned. Peasant charges Io, deflecting the arrows with her frying pan. Snake throws a flash grenade, blinding them both. Peasant grabs Snake in the flash, a frying pan slamming into his side. He stabs her, but the shield absorbs it. Okay, it's screwing up what it means by shield, I think.
Yeah, true.
Venom Snake killed by Peasant's pan by getting bashed in the head. Io lunges at but the peasant blocks and spins and knocks her bow away. Venom swing. Io is slammed into stone and dies from the pit. The peasant with the frying pan wins, but it redefined her shield 3 times. Should I redo that?
I don't care.
She beat a god, demons, and legends with a frying pan. Yeah, that's what I mean, that one's kind of like stupid. Okay, but the shield she got was just still bullshit because it was supposed to just be like a pan lid, and then it became an actual shield, and then it became like a force field apparently.
Yeah, true. I did notice.
Okay, I'm gonna have Arlecchino. I'm gonna have Arlecchino, Peasant, Io, and Snake all refight to death because those are the last ones. Last 4. I guess so. Is that okay? Because I don't want her to win based on that type of thing.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Io launches the first arrow, blazing with moonlight. Peasant dodges barely, one bolt searing her arm. Snake closes in behind her, but Arlecchino leaps over both. She swipes at the peasant, but she blocks with the frying pan and is knocked back, bleeding. Io and Snake locked into a duel of precision, arrows versus knife. Snake reaches her, but Io lands an arrow in his thigh, dropping to one knee. Peasant charges Arlecchino again. She catches the frying pan, but the peasant lets go, spins, and grabs a burning bone from the ground and shoves it into Arlecchino's side. Okay, never mind. They turned her badass from plot armor to badass.
Sure.
Arlecchino screams and throws her off, but the fire spreads through her body. She collapses, laughing, her skin blackens. Io fires another shot at Peasant. It grazes her leg. She stumbles, but Snake is bleeding and still kneeling, hurls his knife. Io dodges, but not in time. The blade pierces her stomach. Io is killed by his knife.
Yeah.
Oh, but in her last breath, she fires an arrow and it hits Snake in the chest. They both die.
I see.
The peasant wins.
Okay.
She got thrown off a cliff, but is still alive. A portal opens up for her. She walks through, frying pan in hand.
Ha! That's where it'll go.
It says a portal opens up brighter and colder than before. So it probably is hot.